April showers bring books. I shouldn't be allowed on the internet. Hey guys, welcome back. It is the best time of the year once again. Here we are with the April picks for Book of the Month. So keep in mind as we go through these picks that there is a poll live currently for 24 hours for you guys to pick my Book of the Month pick for a spoiler talk for April. So be sure to go check out that poll and vote and decide my reading fate. Okay, so we have 7 selections. So let's go ahead and just dive right on into it and see what looks good. Okay, so their first pick looks like a woman is trapped underneath that car. Jeanette Walls, historical fiction Hang the Moon. This moving Prohibition era family saga and its feisty heroine have all the grit and complexity of good moonshine. Okay. With like looking at that cover, I just feel like she's trapped under that car and I want to save her. Famous author. Who is it? Jeanette Walls? Do we know who that is? I don't know who that is. Family drama, rural, literary. Sally Kincaid is the daughter of the biggest man in a small town. I feel like I should say it with a southern accent. Duke Kincaid. Born at the turn of the 20th century into a life of comfort and privilege, Sally remembers little about her mother who died in a violent argument. Did Duke kill her? Died in a violent argument with Duke. By the time she is 8 years old, Duke has remarried and has a son, Eddie. While Sally is her father's daughter, sharp-witted and resourceful, Eddie is his mother's son, timid and cerebral. While Sally tries to teach young Eddie to be more like their father. I'm so confused. Can we like back up a little bit? You want him to be like the father that caused your mother to die in a violent argument? Did Duke murder her? When Sally tries to teach young Eddie to be more like their father, her daredevil coaching leads into an accident and Sally is cast out. It's a lot happening here. 9 years later, she returns determined to reclaim her place in the family. That's a lot more complicated than Sally expected, and she enters a world of conflict and lawlessness. Sally confronts the secrets and scandals that hide in the shadows of the big house, navigates the factions in the family and town, and finally comes into her own as a bold, sometimes reckless bootlegger. There's a lot going on there. Okay, 3.94 stars. Named Library Reads pick for March 2023 and most anticipated book of 2023 by Oprah Daily L and LitHub. Well, I haven't heard of it. Okay, so it came out March 28th. So this is already out. Historical fiction. We already know that. This says that we will fall in love with Sally Kincaid, a feisty and fearless, terrified and damaged young woman who refuses to be corralled. Yeah, okay, but you're going back to your dad who probably killed your mom. I'm so confused. Okay, the biggest question I have with this one is, did Duke kill the mom? Can someone just let me know? By the way, since there are 7 selections this month, YouTube only lets me pick 5 for the poll, so I'm going to be picking 5. So 2 of these I'm going to be like knowing, and then you guys can pick from the 5 that I pick. So moving right along, okay, we have a good thriller. I have been liking thrillers more and more lately, I do have to say, which, by the way, if you are looking for a good add-on for this month, the Soulmates from last month, this comes out, I think, April 4th or something, but this was an early release from last month's Book of the Month thing. I read this within like 24 hours. I loved it. I thought it was so good. So I totally recommend this one. So anyway, I love this cover. I love the big, beautiful house that looks ominous and exciting. Okay, The Only Survivors. A group bound by a decades-old pact and survivor's guilt reunite at a remote island house in this taut, twisty tale. Non-linear timeline. I do like non-linear timelines. Soulmate was kind of like that. Teens. Don't know why it's teens. Whodunit and rugged. 7 hours in the past, 7 days in the present, 7 survivors remaining. Who would you say? A decade ago, 2 vans filled with high school seniors on a school service trip crashed into a Tennessee ravine, a tragedy that claimed the lives of multiple classmates and teachers. The 9 students who managed to escape the river were changed a year later after one of the survivors dies by suicide on the anniversary of the crash. The rest of them make a pact to come together each year to commemorate that terrible night. Dun, dun, dun! To keep one another safe. To hold one another accountable. Or both. So their annual meeting place is a house on the Outer Banks and has long been a refuge. But by the 10th anniversary, Cassidy has worked to distance herself from the tragedy and the other survivors. She's changed her mobile number, blocked the other callers. This year, she's determined to finally break ties once and for all. But on the day of the reunion, she receives a text with an obituary attached. Another survivor is gone. Now there are 7. Ooh, the special number 7. And Cassidy finds herself hurling back toward the group, wild with grief and suspicion. Almost immediately, something feels off this year. Cassidy is the first to notice when Amaya, annual organizer, slips away overwhelmed. This wouldn't raise alarm except for the impending storm. Suddenly they're facing a threat of closed roads, surging water, again. Then Amaya stops responding to her phone. Okay, I feel like you're getting way too much into the plot. After all they've been through, she wouldn't willingly make them worry, would she? And as they promised long ago, each survivor will do whatever he or she can do to save one another, won't they? Dun dun dun. I feel like the synopsis was longer than it needed to be. Ugh, 3.84. I don't feel like that's super great. 352 pages, comes out April 11th. Goodreads giveaway for it if you want to try and enter that. I have never won a giveaway. I try and enter them all the time. Does anybody actually win the giveaways? I want to know that. Because I constantly, I feel like I'm entering them and I'm never winning them. What do we got next? Okay, I've seen this one kind of floating around. Contemporary fiction romantic comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. 2 minutes to showtime. Romance, check. Comedy, check. Midlife crisis, workplace antics, big feels and feminism, check. I don't know if this one, I feel like I've seen it other places like Peg. Oh, there you go. Peg does a romance. Light read, quirky, and movie-ish. Like, how romancy is it? You know, like, is it more focused on like other things? Is it gonna be kind of like a chick lit thing, or is it going to be more of like smutty, which we all know what I want. Sally Miltz is a sketch writer for The Night Owls, the late-night live comedy show that airs each Saturday. With a couple of heartbreaks under her belt, she's long abandoned the search for love, settling instead for the occasional hookup, career success, and a close relationship with her stepfather. When Sally's friend and fellow writer, Danny, begins dating Annabelle, a glamorous actor who guest hosted the show, he joins the not-so-exclusive club of talented but average-looking and even dorky men at the show, and in society at large who've gotten romantically involved with incredibly beautiful and accomplished women. That kind of irritates me. Who cares if he's average-looking and dorky? Like, he probably has a great personality. Is he a comedy show writer? He's probably really funny. Sally channels her annoyance into a sketch called The Danny Horst Rule. Why does this feel so immature? Poking fun at this phenomenon while underscoring how unlikely it is that the reverse would ever happen for a woman. Enter Noah Brewster, a pop music sensation with a reputation for dating models who signed on as both host and musical guest for this week's show. Dazzled by his charms. Oh my God, Noah! Control yourself, Sally! Of course she's down. I already hate this book. I haven't even finished the synopsis and I hate this book. Oh my God. Who signed on as both the host and musical guest for this week's show. Dazzled by his charms, Sally hits it off with Noah instantly. And as they collaborate on one sketch after another, she begins to wonder whether there may actually be sparks flying. But this isn't a romantic comedy, it's real life. And in real life, someone like him would never date someone like her, right? Yeah, so this says it's romance fiction, but it does feel more like chick-litty. Okay, so it comes out April 4th, 320 pages, pretty average. 4.6 actually has pretty good, that's pretty good rating wise. I'm kind of surprised. I'm like dogging on this, but it's probably good, but I don't know. I'm not super, like, I don't know why. The whole thing just makes me like, the whole, like, reading that whole synopsis just like made me cringe. I don't know why. Ooh, dystopian. I haven't read a dystopian novel since like freaking Hunger Games. Okay, it's a debut. That's kind of cool. Don't be fooled by the floating cities and brain implants. This mysterious polar camp riven by inequality is no utopia. Of course it's not. Multiple viewpoints like that. Slow build. Tech world. Immigration. Okay, in the far north of Canada sits Camp Zero, an American building project hiding many secrets. Desperate to help her climate-displaced Korean immigrant mother, Rose agrees to travel to Camp Zero and spy on its architect in exchange for housing. She arrives at the same time as another newcomer, a college professor named Grant. Is there gonna be a love story? A college professor named Grant who is determined to flee his wealthy family's dark legacy. Ooh, a man with a mystery. Gradually, they realize that there is more to the architect than previously thought, and a disturbing mystery lurks beneath the surface of the camp. At the same time, rumors of an elite group of women soldiers living and working in a nearby Cold War-era climate research station. What are they doing there? Who's leading them? An electrifying page-turner where nothing is as it seems, Camp Zero cleverly explores how the intersection of gender, class, and migration will impact who and what will survive in a warming world. It's only 300 pages, but it's a slow build, and looks like it's a standalone. That concerns me just a touch, because I feel like with this, like, world building and this, like, dystopia, like, type thing, like, I feel like it almost needs to be a little bit longer, so that kind of concerns me. I like shorter books, but at the same time, like, is that enough time to build this new dystopia world? I don't know. Okay, so comes out April 4th. I mean, I'm kind of interested. It's definitely different than, like, other stuff that I read. I'm not really, like, it feels science fiction-y. I'm not a huge science fiction fan, but I mean, I'll give anything a try. Okay, contemporary fiction, Adelaide. This raw, wrenching exploration of a toxic relationship and its aftermath doubles as an ode to the power of self-love. Heavy read. Woof. Sad. No quotation marks. Sally, this is some Sally Rooney shit. That irritates me. Okay, female friendships. I've read a few, well, I've tried. I've read one Sally Rooney book that I've actually finished, and then that's it. But she does not use quotation marks, and it's like, it's very difficult when you've read so much to read a book where the formatting is so different than everything else that you've read, where it's like, who's saying what? Like, or it's just like blocks of text. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the no quotation marks in books, so I did not know that about this book, and I'm actually super happy that they included that in the little blurb, because I'm a little like, I don't know about that. Okay, for 26-year-old Adelaide Williams, an American living in dreamy London, meeting Rory Hughes was like a lightning bolt out of the blue. This charming Englishman was the one she wasn't even looking for. Is it enough? Does he respond to texts, honor his commitments, make advanced plans? Sometimes, rarely, and no, not at all. But when he shines his light on her, the world makes sense, and Adelaide is convinced that in his heart he's fallen just as deeply as she has. Adelaide. Then when Rory is rocked by an unexpected tragedy, Adelaide does everything in her power to hold him together, even if it means losing herself in the process. When love asks too much of us, how do we find the strength to put ourselves first? With unflinching honesty and heart, this relatable debut from a fresh and new voice explores grief and mental health while capturing the timeless nature of what it's like to be young and in love with your friends, with your city, and with the person who will not love you back. Sexual assault, suicidal ideation, self-harm, emotional abuse. Yeah, that's a heavy read. I marked it as one to read. That's why it's familiar. When did I do that? I actually love the cover. I love the flowers with her head popping out. I think that's so freaking cool. Oh, and by the way, you know, like on the app, on the Book of the Month app, when they're like, oh, the new month is coming, and they have like the little like spoiler thing, the flowers were the spoiler for this month. So I feel like I kind of knew that this was going to be a pick, but I wasn't 100% for sure. Because like, I don't know if this book is like, I don't really feel like I hear people like talking about it. This was another one that's labeled as like romance, but it doesn't sound like a romance book. Right there, right there. This is not a love story. It's extremely raw and not easy to read at all. If you're a fan of Normal People by Sally Rooney, I said that. Sally Rooney doesn't do the freaking, oh, I forgot about the quotations again. Urgh. So yeah, apparently if you like Sally Rooney, you'll like this, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't say something like that in the blurb. Like, oh, fans of Sally Rooney would like this book. Ooh, historical romance. That's kind of cute. Anna Maria and the Fox. That's a cute cover. Okay. Show me what you got. In this sumptuous, swoony Victorian romance, an eldest daughter struggles with responsibility and the pull of her heart. Social issues, first in a series. Ooh, I don't know if I'm ready to commit to a new series right now. Salacious. And siblings. A forbidden love. We love that. Between a Mexican heiress and a shrewd British politician makes for a tantalizing Victorian season. I don't even know if have I ever read a historical romance book? I don't know if I have off the top of my head. Maybe this will be my first. Ana Maria Luna Valdez has strived to be the perfect daughter, the perfect niece, and the perfect representative of the powerful Luna familia. Okay, so Ana Maria is sent to London with her sisters to seek refuge during the French occupation of Mexico. She experiences her first taste of freedom far from the judgmental eyes of her domineering father. If only she could ignore the piercing looks she receives across the ballroom floors from the Mr. Fox. Oh, Mr. Fox! Gideon Fox has elevated himself from the London gutters by chasing his burning desire for more. He has a burning desire for Anna. Oh, this sounds like a fun read. Now, as a member of Parliament, Gideon's on the cusp of securing the votes he needs to put forth a measure to abolish the Atlantic slave trade once and for all, a cause that is close to his heart as the grandson of a formerly enslaved woman. The charming, vexing Ana Maria is a distraction he must ignore. Anna, no! But when Ana Maria finds herself in the crosshairs of a nefarious nobleman with his political agenda, Gideon knows he must offer his hand as protection. But will this Mexican heiress win his heart as well? How has this not been on my radar? I haven't even heard of this. What is this? Ana Maria and the Fox. I love that. The Fox. Oh, 4.7. That's pretty good. 352 pages, comes out April 4th. Okay, so it says the Luna Sisters #1. I was a little concerned because I'm like, do I want to commit to a series right now? But like typical romance fashion, they will probably do a different book based on each sister. So I'm assuming that this is a standalone and then each sister will get their own standalone book. Okay, last book, we have contemporary fiction, Advika and the Hollywood Wives. I have not heard of this. Old Hollywood glamour, scorned lovers, paparazzi, and found family. Feminist, marriage issues, millennial, and glamorous. Okay, at age 26, Advika considers herself a failed screenwriter. To pay the bills and keep her mind off of the recent death of her twin sister, that sucks. She's taken to bartending A-list events, including the 2015 Governor's Ball, the official after-party of the Oscars. There, in a cinematic dream come true, she meets the legendary Julian, a film producer as handsome as Paul Newman and 10 times as powerful. Fresh off his 5th Best Picture win, despite their 41-year age difference, Advika! Woo! That's an age difference. Advika? 41 years? Okay. I don't think I could do it, but I'm curious. So she falls helplessly under his spell, and their evening flirtation ignites into a whirlwind courtship and elopement. Advika is enthralled by Julian's charm and luxurious lifestyle. I love reality television, and it makes me think of the show Marrying Millions. Advika is enthralled by Julian's charm and luxurious lifestyle, but when Julian loves to talk about his famous friends and achievements, he smoothly changes the subject whenever his previous relationships come up. Then, a month into their marriage, Julian's first wife, the famous actress Evie Lockhart, dies, and a tabloid reports a shocking stipulation in her will. A single film reel and $1 million will be bequeathed to Julian's latest child bride. What is happening? To Julian's what the fuck is happening? To Julian's latest child bride on the one condition, Advika must divorce him first. Bye, Julian. Shake you out of that love fog, Advika. Shaken out of her love fog and still simmering grief over the loss. Oh yeah, I forgot her sister died. And uneasy about Julian's sudden, inexplicable urge to start a family. What the fuck is going on? Advika decides to investigate him through the eyes and experiences of his exes. From reading his first wife's biography to listening to his second wife's confessional albums to watching How Many Wives Do You Have? To watching his third wife's Real Housewives-esque reality show, Advika starts to realize how little she knows about her husband. What'd they say? They got eloped after one day? After one night? And he's 41 years older than you? Advika, realizing she rushed into the marriage for all the wrong reasons. Money. Advika uses the info gleaned from the lives of her husband's exes to concoct a plan to extradite herself from Julian once and for all. What is going on? Advika. When I first started reading that, I was like, that sounds boring. But now I'm like, that sounds drama as fuck. Aw, 3.69. Womp womp. That's not that. Oh, only 39 ratings. Wow. Okay, so this is pretty. Oh, perfect for readers of Taylor Jenkins Reid. Interesting. I'm kind of sad that it only has a 3.69 for ratings because it sounds like drama. If you don't like any of those, you can always pick a member fave as your main pick. I love Ariadne. If you haven't read that one yet, it's a really good mythology retelling. So I would personally pick that one if I didn't like any of the other ones to kind of get my book for the month. Because I really like Ariadne. I've read that one before. I think it's really good. Okay, so let's see what we have for add-ons. I'm just gonna pick the first one. The house is on fire. That looks new. I have some questions for you. I don't know. Was that there last month? I think it was. Oh, Divine Rivals. That's Rebecca Ross's. So, what is it? A River Enchanted. That was another pick from Book of the Month. That duology was really good. Well, I haven't read the second one yet, but the first one was really good. It's really good to the point where it's like, I don't want to finish it yet. So I'm postponing reading the second to actually have it be finished because like, I don't like when good things are over. Divine Rivals, I actually have that coming from a different book box, so I won't be getting that, but I'm actually very interested in that because I actually like Rebecca Ross. Last Hair of the Flower Bride. Don't get me started. Oh, Spells for Forgetting, that one's really good. I like that book. Okay, so that is the April picks for this month. I feel like there is a kind of strange variety this month, like a little bit of something for everybody, but at the same time, like if you wanted to skip this month, I could kind of totally see where you're coming from because like the books are kind of like, I'm very unsure about a lot of them. I feel like a lot of them are very like, oh, maybe I'll get it from the library instead of like picking it for the book of the month. Regardless, I am going to be picking 5 of these 7 for the poll. So that poll, when you're watching this, is live currently. So don't forget to go vote in that poll so you can pick what book I'm going to be doing a spoiler talk on in April. And subscribe to the channel so that when I release the spoiler talk, you'll get notified. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye!